All right, y'all. Um, where to begin? So, as I mentioned in my last video, in my first video of this kind, really documenting my journey, um, I mentioned that I'm here to get rich. Like, that's the vibe, that's the energy, that's the intention from this year forward. So, with that, the richness applies to a lot of different areas of my life. So, one that I am focusing on most presently and more newly, in a way, is the richness of my health, my physical health, especially when it comes to, well, really when it comes to food and exercise. So, this week, today, that I'm recording is Saturday. So this week really started on Wednesday, reshifting my focus to some more of the health things. Um, I started back exercising, and I've gotten since Wednesday. I only missed one day. I know it's only been like what 3 days or something, but I've two out of the 3 days I've exercised. I decided to try jump rope because it's pretty portable. Um, I'm traveling right now. I travel a lot, so doing gym workouts and things like that aren't always feasible. And I know there's a lot of in-home workouts and yoga, whatever else. Well, I know yoga's intention is not for working out, but things that help with keeping your body in a better physical space or physical state. There's a lot of things I could do in the house, but um, I'm really just not that motivated to do them, to be honest, for things that are going to take an hour to get through. I like jumping rope because it's quick. I'm just a beginner with building up the endurance. So, yeah, I don't last very long. So, right now, it's pretty quick. But it's quick, it's straightforward to the point. Um, so I've been doing that. It's going well so far. I do have a habit historically of starting something when it comes to workout routines. It'll go well for a little while, but I'll fall off at some point. Um, but I got that. I'm enjoying it so far. My chest is burning whenever I do it. Um, But I know also too, it doesn't take a whole lot for it to be effective, which is also something that I appreciate with any type of exercise that I do. Um, Before jump rope, what I was doing, I got an exercise trampoline. That was really fun and I enjoyed it. But as I mentioned, I travel a lot. And I've been on the road for a little while, so it hasn't been the most realistic thing for me to do because obviously I can't can't carry a trampoline with me everywhere or fly with one either. Jump rope, just wrap it up, stick it in my suitcase, and I'm good to go. So, um, I've also refocused on my diet. So, I've had this thought mm, I'd say within the last couple of years. So this isn't a new insight or revelation for me, but I am attempting to have a majority raw diet. Um, so I've also been maintaining that since Wednesday. And that's been going really, really good actually. Everything I've eaten so far has been delicious. It's been really filling. I haven't had a lot of cravings for other things. Um, and it feels satisfying. Like it feels very satisfying. Like my body has really, really needed it. So what I've eaten so far, it's really just been a mixture of the same things. But I've had spinach, broccoli, not really a trail mix, but more of like a nut mix with some cranberries. I've had tomatoes, mushrooms, onions, and then today I have to look if this is considered with the raw aspect of it, but also added some corn to my salad mix. And I've eaten that with vegan honey mustard and also vegan cheese. Follow Your Heart. That's the brand. I just discovered that brand like a month or so ago with some of their sliced Gouda cheese, smoked Gouda cheese. That was really good. So I bought the honey mustard and the shredded mozzarella cheese. That's been really good. I will say, I don't know if I'm at the point yet of being able to eat all of these vegetables plain. It's been really, really good with the dressing on it, but plain, I don't know. I don't know. But it's a learning process. I'm literally only 3 days into it. I've just done some basic, very basic research on what to even eat. So I'm sure it'll just be a process of learning different food combinations, which also forgot to mention. I've had grapes and strawberries and mangoes. So far so good there. I don't know what else I'm going to eat outside of these like salad blends, but I'll do some more research on just like some food combos. But I am definitely realizing and coming to accept the fact that I might have to experiment and essentially force my taste buds to adjust to liking some foods that I don't really like, which includes avocado and cucumbers and bananas. I don't really like any of those. I know they're very popular staples among health food groups, but for one thing, for all of them, it's the flavor I don't enjoy. But also for bananas and avocados, I do not like the texture. Do not. It's like sitting in the back of my throat and just makes me want to. But anywho, if any of you all have a diet, more of a raw diet, let me know what other types of foods and food combinations you eat. I will say I am technically, I'll say pescatarian. I have been for, I don't even know how many years now, probably like 8 years or so. So that part is not the challenge, but I will say I do not like cooking, which is one reason why I also enjoy the raw diet because I don't have to cook. So that part is also working out really well for me. As far as veganism, I kind of shy away from veganism because of the fact that, and honestly, even being a pescatarian too, because of the fact that so many foods, well, I'll say vegan in the sense of, because obviously if I'm eating raw foods, that kind of is the same thing, but the type of veganism where people are making all of these foods at home, I don't have the time for that. And even if I did have the time, I probably still wouldn't want to do it because I just don't. I don't enjoy really anything related to the kitchen unless I'm baking a cake, maybe that's okay. But I really don't enjoy cooking. And I struggle with it. I remember sometimes that I bought like those prepared meals. Well, first of all, I thought they were going to be, the meals were already going to be made and then you just warm them up. But I got one of those food subscription services that just sends you all of the ingredients that you then have to prepare. They send you the ingredients and the instructions for how to prepare the meal. And when I tell y'all that these instructions would say, 30-minute prep time, 45-minute prep time, I'd still be trying to prep these meals 3 hours later. I kid you not. And I was like, there's no way. dice this, mince that, sprinkle this, pour this, stir that. It was too much for me. My whole goal was simplicity, and this made things like 5 times harder. So that was a no go. But yeah, I don't really enjoy cooking, so that part of trying to eat better has been really challenging for me over the years. I don't really want to have to buy all of these devices either. I would get a juicer. That's one thing that seems like a worthwhile investment. But, having to juice all of these things and having these blenders, and I forgot the name of the other machine, but it's more precise. It breaks things down smaller than a blender does. A food processor. But just having to have all these other devices and go through all these extra steps for me, it's a headache, and it's also a challenge. So yeah, the raw thing I think is gonna be necessary. Um, but also why I came to this conclusion and why I had this thought some months and years ago is because I have had a long standing history of gastrointestinal issues. Like, I remember, at least from high school, when I really noticed it. It may have been present before that, but I didn't really start to didn't really start to rationalize or conceptualize what was happening with my body until I got in high school. But I would have days where I couldn't eat. Like, literally, at some point, I think maybe 2 weeks went by where I could not eat more than like a single bite of something without feeling nauseous. And like my throat had, it felt like my throat was resisting allowing me to swallow anything. Like, it just closed up and was like, no. So there was a time, as an example, that just came to me like 2 years ago. I was not feeling very well. Typically, what happens, well, there's a couple different ways that it shows up for me, but sometimes what will happen is I'll just wake up one day and I just have this feeling like all the way down my esophageal tract, I guess. And I can immediately tell if it's full of like tension or resistance. But a couple years ago, there was like a week or so that went by. I couldn't eat more than a literal bite or two of a piece of bread without my throat just closing up, and I couldn't swallow. And it caused me, not that I am upset about losing weight, but it causes me to lose weight like really, really quickly. Like, I would be losing like 5 pounds in a week. But at other times, it affected me by having consistent stomach aches. And I could eat anything under the sun, and my stomach would be hurting. I'd be in so much pain where I'm like in fetal position, just nearly unbearable. I know a lot of times with food issues, you have to do studies where you do like the food logs to see what's triggering it. I never got really, really, what's the word, dedicated to keeping a log, but I definitely paid attention to the foods that I would eat, and it ranged from all over the place. It wasn't always just like junk foods. I could eat just a regular meal, bread. I know bread triggers some things in a lot of people, but so many different kinds of foods that I ate that would trigger stomach pains that I kind of got to a point where I gave up. I didn't really even realize that I was just living with it until someone pointed it out to me that maybe I should get it checked out, which I had attempted to get it checked out before some years ago, but they pretty much said it was GERD and gave me some pills for acid reflux, but that didn't really help. I do have really bad acid reflux sometimes, though. Well, a lot of times. It's gotten better. Actually, now that I say that, I haven't experienced it since I've made these dietary changes, but acid reflux is something that I get real bad. Also heartburn. But they gave me something for GERD, but that wasn't really the issue. And I just never I took those medications for like a day or two, but I was like, what am I supposed to do with this? Because it's not helping the issue. So last year I went back to a specialist. And pretty much there wasn't a conclusion because I didn't go through with the whole process for various reasons, but I got what is it called? I had to get an endoscopy. So they put me to sleep, put the tube down my throat. I'm assuming they didn't find anything from that. They sent me some results, but nobody ever called to actually explain what the results were saying. But the initial meeting with the specialist, pretty much what it came down to is that I would have to go through a series of tests and kind of experiments to see what could be causing it. And that it might be, a long process. So really, I get tired of doctors. I really do. And I'm a big believer in the power of natural medicine. And I do know doctors can be helpful, but I feel like with some of the things that I have going on, like I don't want to have to take medications every day. And if that's all that I can be offered, that means that the problem is not actually being solved. So I'm more interested in why my body is reacting this way and what the actual resolution is. So I did take one of those food sensitivity tests, and I didn't have any like really strong. So if you've never taken one, they rate it on like this isn't the exact words, but it's kind of like mild, moderate, high level of sensitivity. So for me, I didn't have any really, really high ones, but I had a lot of mild and moderate. And when I tell you, it was pretty much everything except I think like fruits and kind of like, yeah, just plain fruits and vegetables. I was like, what am I supposed to eat? Like for example, it would say that like wheat and most of what's found in bread, I was sensitive to, unlike whatever kind of yeast. But then it would also say that I had sensitivities to what was found in the like gluten-free products. So it's like I can't eat regular stuff, but also the gluten-free or the vegan stuff or like nutritional yeast, I can't eat that either. So again, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to eat? So again, I got to the point where I was kind of like, forget it. I guess I'm just gonna be in pain and have to tolerate it. Pepto Bismol has been my best friend for a lot of years. I literally used to travel anywhere I went. I had a bottle of Pepto Bismol in my backpack, or I would have some tablets in my pocket. They went with me everywhere because I pretty much had to take it every single day. But just knowing how my body reacts to things, there was a time a few years ago, for about 3 weeks or so, I went on a mostly vegan diet, and I felt pretty good then. So I know that my body responds well to that. And another interesting piece of information. Oh, sorry if y'all hear that noise. My nephews are upstairs playing, but I think it was a couple years ago. I don't know what they're doing, but I think it was a couple years ago now. I saw this psychic, and she said a lot of things, but something she was talking about was like healing my gut and just how like intuition and empathy and how those things have affected me as a person. But she very specifically said that through the process of healing my gut and working on myself, that would be a cornerstone of some of the shifts, major and positive life shifts happening for me. And she also mentioned not letting my food intake or my diet be influenced by the people that I hang around. And I've kept it in the back of my mind. And I think I've maybe in roundabout ways tried to apply it, but never really just sit with myself and said, you know what, I have to really, but well, it's starting to crystallize now what she meant now that I'm doing it. Really committing myself to the type of diet that I know my body needs and the type of diet that won't cause me pain. And also thinking about that as an expression of self-love. That's been another journey. And I'm going to write that down too to talk about as we speak. But just how eating foods that are good for me that aren't going to cause me to be in pain, and that I know foods that I know lift my energy and my vibrations. Yeah, how that really reflects a level of love and esteem for myself, and knowing that it's going to take some discipline. It definitely is, but I'll be all the better for it in the end. And I will say too, I've noticed since I can't remember if this had just started happening before I made the changes, but I know for sure, at least since Wednesday, it's like the only word I can think to use is like my psychic, like intuitive sense has been incredibly heightened. I've been surprised several times every day this week because I will think something and literally within the day it happens. I might think, oh, when I remember I ordered this thing, I wonder when it's coming. It comes the same day. I might think about talking to someone and they'll text me within the day or two that I thought about it. So I have noticed a lot more of that. Also, a lot more synchronicities lately. I know a lot of people talk about angel numbers, but I've been seeing a lot of those types of things. So that seems to be pretty promising for me that the things I'm doing right now are things that are good for me, things that my body needs, things that are good for my mind. Other changes, some changes that I've noticed since Wednesday, I haven't had any stomach pain. Like, I don't know if typically people's bodies change and react this quickly to, a new diet, but since Wednesday, yeah, I haven't had any stomach pain. I haven't felt any heartburn. I haven't been nauseous at all. I haven't been just like gassy and or burping all day. That also was a daily, it's miserable. It was very miserable, y'all. Like a daily battle. And just not being able to figure out why, and everything I tried had just failed. I've been on medications. I've tried, Pepto-Bismol is only a Band-Aid. But, I've had medications for IBS that didn't really help. I've had medical grade GERD medications that didn't really change anything. Because again, they're just band-aids. They don't actually get to the cause of why you're having those problems in the first place. But just daily issues with my whole digestive tract and being just so uncomfortable. And like I said, I really just got to the point where that just became my life, and I just had to deal with it and live with it every single day. But I've definitely felt a lot better these last few days since trying out some new foods and maintaining a new diet. I am integrating it gradually, so everything I'm eating isn't vegan or raw. Like I did have a slice of cake yesterday. I'm probably going to continue to have slices of cake because I like it. I normally give myself a treat on Fridays just for the end of my week. But I think that was the main thing. Did I eat anything else? Not really. But that's what I've noticed too. I know I mentioned cravings earlier. I haven't really been craving like any junk foods or snacks. Um, and the house, I'm at my sister's house, it's full of snacks for, she has for the kids. Um, Normally I'd be like the cookie monster where I just want to nibble and snack on stuff all day long. But now I've really stuck to it. It's mostly just been, the vegetables that I have, the vegetable mix that I have, and the fruit. I could drink more water. I do need to get that back together. I need to wash my water bottle. I have one of the like stainless steel bottles, but I don't have my brush cleaner, my bottle cleaner brush with me. So I haven't been able to clean it out the way that I want to before using it. But yeah, I can afford to drink more water. But does anybody have any suggestions of some really good juices or like smoothies, whether that's vegetable or fruit? I know there's the naked ones, but I also know that those have a lot of sugar. Anybody have any suggestions of some good like natural juices that I can buy? I guess cold. I'd have to go to what like um if I went to like Whole Foods or something. But outside of that, because I don't even know if there's a Whole Foods close by where I am. But outside of that, or any brands that are just sold in like the regular store. I'm assuming if there were, I probably would have seen them where all the naked juices and kombuchas and stuff are. But I would still enjoy and appreciate any suggestions. Because that really helps for me to have juice options, especially like for breakfast. I'm not really a big breakfast eater all the time, but it's easy if I can start my day off, just have a smoothie that I can drink. I don't have to sit and eat a whole plate of food at once, but a smoothie that I can sit and just drink and sip on while I'm easing into my morning. But um let's see. I think that was really it. Biggest things for me with the food so far. I've had a long and difficult journey with food, and just really feeling sick. I know a lot of the food in this country is poison anyway. And I think my body, I'm just a really sensitive person all around. So I think my body just has not been able to manage, which it shouldn't have to. So I am actively making the decision to work with myself and give my body what it needs. So cheers to richness of nutrition, richness of health, richness of nutrition, and richness of putting good things, good foods, good drinks into our bodies. So thank you all for listening. If you made it this far, I enjoy talking with you all again. So I'll see you soon. Bye. Peace.